Good morning. You are listening to First Title National Real Estate Radio Show. I'm your host, Doug Dennison, and we are broadcasting from beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, the nation's oldest city at WFOY 1240 AM studios. Through the power of the internet, this program is being streamed worldwide on 1240news.com. The show will also be archived on FirstTitleServices.com and TitleCompany.com. First Title and Escrow are a leading title company, and they are the sponsors of this program. Additionally, the show will be posted on YouTube.com. Our radio show mission statement: to provide an educational experience for listeners in a promotional format for real estate sales across the country. We're going to be talking about real estate, different real estate markets across the country. We get a lot of topics today. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Doug. Good morning.
Is this Bill Reichel?
You got me.
All right. Hey, pleasure to have you on the show again. Bill, for our listeners, again, tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do, sir.
I'm in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. I've been here since 1980 in the commercial real estate business, which is hard to believe. It's been over 30 years. I've had my company, which is Reichel Realty and Investments, since 1987. So we're 26 years in business.
That's great.
And thank you. And we're a commercial real estate firm, and we handle really all facets of leasing, management. We do tax appeal. We do sales. Development. We do a lot of workout stuff for banks over the years. I've been a receiver, expert witness, worked through bankruptcy issues with different commercial real estate matters. So the whole kind of gamut, I guess. Worked with you on some auctions way back when.
Way back when, and one of them was a real nice one. Gosh, I can't remember.
FDIC or FSLIC?
FDIC, and it was a 300 units out of a 800-unit apartment complex, I think, or a condominium. What was that place called?
Are you going to ask me that?
Yeah.
I do not remember.
I do not remember
we did
either.
Business together, and it's a great business. I love it. It's super challenging.
Yep.
It fits my kind of competitive nature, and I love dealing with people and businesses, and so it's really been a very rewarding career. And beyond my wildest expectations, what we've become, I'm super proud of my organization. There's 16 of us, and we have a phenomenal management team and great brokers, all of them with 20-plus years experience. So we've been through some tough times, but as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I think we are stronger. We're seeing terrific activity. Actually, some transactions that we've been working on for really, believe it or not, 2 or 3 years are now getting done.
Mm-hmm.
With some bigger retail-type tenants and ground leases with some national firms and just some good stuff going on. So it's pretty exciting times, I think.
Well, you talked a little bit about the downturn and how there were some tough times, and of course you and I, although we feel very young, have been through a couple of those downturns. How did the last one affect the West Palm Beach area? How did it affect commercial? Give us a little summary on that, if you would.
For my firm, we've always done well in down times because we do a lot of bank work out. Our experience comes from a lot of that kind of work, as we were just talking about.
Yes.
I think in this particular downturn, there wasn't as much of the workout bank work that I had thought there would be.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because a lot of the banks really kind of took a position of kicking that can down the road a little bit.
Yes.
And there was just so much turmoil. There wasn't quite as much. I mean, we got our share, but I thought there'd be more. We manage a portfolio of about 1.5 million square feet, about 400 or 500 tenants. And when you do that, and they're all facets, they're retail, office, industrial, you really get a sense of the world because you're dealing with different businesses across the board.
Yep.
And you're dealing with a lot of their pains and struggles and their ability to pay rent, what's going on, and we, had to work with many, many, many of them just to get through, and some of them just folded their tent. And as we say, the strong, what doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. And now we're seeing the tenants that did hang in there and persevere are stronger, and a lot of the competition is gone. We're starting to see new businesses come in, and those stronger ones expand carefully because their memory is still there from what we've been through. But the thing that's different now is that we have our housing, which is doing well, which is really the engine that drives our economy in so many different ways. So I think that's the key element that we're seeing that seems to sustain some good, solid growth.
Well, I looked at your website just a couple of days ago, and man, you got lots of property that you're selling, and also said, what had sold. It was a great website.
Thank you.
Tell us where you're getting more business from right now. Is industrial doing better than any other area, retail, office? What's your thinking on that?
Industrial is coming back. It really took a big hit. A lot of distress, a lot of rate, discounting.
Right, drops.
It's still pretty cheap to rent industrial space, but it's getting absorbed. And a lot of that is, as a result of that housing we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The contractors are busier. They're renting that kind of space. So we're seeing that. There hasn't been anything new built, so that's the good news. So anything that's out there is being absorbed. But we're kind of busy on all fronts to answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to see new development, things in the plans. All the residential, any kind of residential land is being looked at, and a lot of activity on that front. For housing, I know you had a guy on for workforce housing.
Yep.
A lot of the apartment market has done very well, so there's a lot of bullishness in that field, and even in some smaller commercial developments. We have a lot of good things going on in our county per se. We have a very strong business development board that's, I think, done a marvelous job under Kelly Smallridge, doing a great job in attracting new businesses.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting our share of those coming in and expansions as well. And I think our schooling has gotten stronger, and that is a big proponent for those companies moving down here. The charter school system, we've done a lot of business with those types of companies expanding. We have a new prep school in our area called Oxbridge that's doing exceedingly well, headed by a guy named Bill Koch, and they're expanding. So there's a lot of really exciting, good, solid things going on. I think the mall in West Palm Beach is going to be a great catalyst for jobs and business in that area, that outlet mall that's being developed, the old West Palm Mall. That's one of the few major mall developments probably in the country that's being done.
How is downtown West Palm Beach doing? Has that done well? I know they were doing and again, this is a couple years ago, but they were building new hotels, and of course they've got the city center there. Tell me a little bit about downtown, if you would.
Well, City Place is...
City Place, sorry.
Yeah, City Place with the convention center there.
Mm-hmm.
They're finally going to build a hotel to serve the convention center, which is, got to happen.
Got to happen.
It's way overdue, and they're finally going to get that done. It's going to take a few years to get up and finished.
Yep.
City Place has gone through a lot of tenant changeover. They're going to put an LA Fitness in there now. I think the housing has gained some strength around it, which helps feed it.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting in a bowling alley, which is really going to be another kind of entertainment venue, with liquor and food.
Yep.
So I think it's kind of in a continual, flux. Those projects, when they get going, what we've seen over the 30 years I've been in the business is it's usually the guy who develops it. If he gets out early enough, he makes a huge profit. Then the next guy maybe falters a little bit, or the third guy falters, and then a bank gets it. And sometimes it takes the guy that comes in after the fact, or maybe even the third go-round, that has the basis low enough to be able to really turn it around. I think we're seeing that at downtown at the Gardens. The Berman family bought that at a deep discount. That was a development that I think the original guy who bought it from the developer had $300 million in it.
Wow.
I think they picked it up for 50 or 60.
Okay.
Put a lot of money in it, but it turned it around. It's where Whole Foods is, and the theater, Cop Theater. So sometimes it just takes some time, and timing's everything, as they say in life, right, Doug?
Absolutely. Tell me about lending. How has the commercial sector been as far as getting money?
It's been difficult.
If
you're an owner-occupant, you're golden to the bank.
Okay.
Credit's good, and you have some money.
Yep.
The SBA program has been done well. That's that owner-occupied stuff.
Yep.
But investment stuff, there's still a lot of, tenuousness in the market, and the lenders are extremely, they're being so highly scrutinized.
Yep.
By the feds and everything that, when you go in for a loan, you're under a microscope. And there used to be a saying, well, you could borrow money if you didn't need it. Well, now, even if you don't need it and you kind of want to, it's very difficult. So it's, I think it's loosening up some. They at some point, that's part of their business program is to lend money, so they're looking for those opportunities. They've just been very picky.
Right.
And that's not a horrible thing. I think it's, we went through a lot of time when they were throwing the money out the door. Now they became so stingent with it, and I think it got to come somewhere in the middle, and we'll be fine. And it seems to be moving in that direction.
You talked about banks kicking the can down the road, and you and I know what that means, and probably a lot of real estate professionals do. But for the general public, what does that mean in regards to what's available out there in regards to investments?
Well, they're not taking title. They're not pushing the foreclosure through.
Got it.
They're delaying. They're hoping the market will improve as they delay. And, instead of picking up the can and putting it in the trash and dealing with the trash, they're kind of kicking it down the road a little bit. And we'll get to that later. We'll pick it up later and deal with it.
So kind of reworking the loans and
right.
kind of making it easier for the person that's owes money.
I think it's twofold. First of all, our court system was so bogged down.
Yes,
it's hard to get through the process of a foreclosure. It still is. And just, with a bank, it's a lot of it's an accounting function of how much they have to write it down.
Yep.
How do they take the loss? What it does to their earnings, and they become under the guidelines of the FDIC. They're no longer capitalized properly, and then they have other problems. And so it's really I don't think it's been much fun being a banker over the last 7 years. And if you talk to any of them, and I know a lot of my friends sit on boards,
yep.
Which is something I've always avoided. It's not been fun. It's been very difficult times and hard decisions to make.
I have talked to a lot of people in the real estate market down in Florida, not only residential but commercial. They're getting a lot of buyers from South America. Does that happen all the way up in West Palm Beach, which is, 80 miles north or 60 miles north, something like that?
Not as much as,
okay.
Of course, in that Dade market, which is, flooded with that. Which
yep.
has really, bought up all that inventory down there. It sometimes creeps up this way. We've had some of that, not really anything to the extent
sure.
they have. And we're not a residential firm, and I think
Right.
you probably get a better sense of that from a firm that's doing more residential stuff.
Yep.
But on the investment side, we haven't seen too much of that.
How about the Northeast sector? There always has seemed to be a Florida, New England, a New York. People have summer homes. They tend to buy businesses in both places. They tend to travel back and forth. Is that continuing? Do you see a lot of that in the West Palm Beach area?
Yeah, I think that's always been something that's happened and gone on, and I think we'll always have that.
Okay.
Just like on the west coast of Florida, they have more of the Midwest
Yes.
kind of contingent. We have more of the Northeast. So we still have some of that that goes on here. Sure.
What is your crystal ball as far as what's going to happen in commercial? Let's say the next 2 or 3 years. We'll kind of put it out a couple years from now. You've been in the business for a long time. You've seen the ups and downs. You know where the market is now. Where do you think we are going 2 to 3 years down the road?
I think we're in for some good times. I think as long as the Fed stays on track and our interest rates can stay reasonable,
Mm-hmm.
I think the housing, like as I said before, is that engine that's going to drive our economy. It seems to be doing well. I think in our area we've got some influx of some good jobs, which is what we need.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that whole, I think I have a lot of optimism. I think it'll be hopefully more kind of tailored and not this, buying frenzy kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Better if it's more stable and just kind of tailored, and I'm hopeful for that, and I think that's what we can expect. So I'm optimistic, and I'm happy because I have 2 kids in college and I can't retire. So
I get that.
I still like what I do, so I'm very fortunate in that regard.
You have done very well, and it is very rare, because I see this across the country, where a non-major commercial firm can really dominate an area. And, I'm talking about the different, maybe top 10 commercial companies in the country. And yet in the West Palm Beach area, I'm looking at your website. You're really getting a great deal of traction from buyers and sellers. How did you do that? How do you compete with the big boys?
Well, I think if anybody knows me, they know me as an extremely competitive person. But I have an amazing amount of integrity, and I always. What drives me is not the money. What drives me is really wowing my customer, really doing the impossible. And a lot of the jobs that we've been involved with and the transactions we've accomplished have been very difficult. And so you gain that trust from people who know you, the lawyers that have dealt with you, and you feed on that. It builds. And that's really what has been our, why we're successful. And I surround myself with like-minded people.
Yep.
The people that we have here have the same thing. My organization is designed where we share in the wealth. So there's a lot of sharing. We have 401k. We have profit sharing. Our management team is involved in sharing commissions on sales that they're involved with. So there's a lot of synergy within our group, and it just shows, So when people deal with us, they know that we really, really care. And it's a difficult business, but we're up to that challenge. And it's all about urgency and communication and integrity, really. And so, it's not complicated. It's just it just is what it is. And you got to get up every morning and just love what you do and go after it, and with that zeal. And I think if you do, people get it, and people want to deal with you, and then they tell other people.
Well,
that's what happens.
That's the nice thing when your customers tell other people about you. I mean, that call is an easy sale.
That's the one. Yeah.
That's the one. and my next question is, you've been in business. You do a great job. You've been there for a while. You know, you go through the West Palm Beach area, and there's that sign, Reichel Realty, and there's another sign, Reichel Realty. They're all over. What do you think your percentage of business is from repeat clients? That's a toughie.
I think what happens is we have a client, we handle a portfolio for a trust.
Okay.
And we've had it for 4 years.
Oh, nice.
So what happens is, and they've bought some stuff with us. We've sold some stuff for them. So they stay with you. But you know what? Every day, you got to prove your worth.
Yes.
What you did yesterday doesn't mean anything. So every day you have to just keep making it happen. They don't want to hear. You're not going to stay on your laurels. So I think a lot of it is just when we get a customer, we really keep them because we have that attitude. We do a lot of work in the automotive industry for dealers. I mean, we've done work for probably 5 or 6 of the top dealerships in our area in handling their real estate and helping them with real estate. And some of them for 30 years.
Wow.
That we've just done work for them. And if they have a situation, they call me. So that's just phenomenal. That's what, you live for. And it does feel good that they have that trust and confidence in you. But I couldn't tell you, percentage-wise.
Lots.
A lot. But, we're always picking up new clients, too, that hear about us or call us.
Yes.
We're doing a tremendous amount on the Internet. We have an email newsletter we send out. I think it's grown to about 10,000 people get it. We do blasts on that several times a month for different projects, announcements. We're actually reworking our corporate brochure right now and our website to kind of bring it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always looking to invest more money back into our business and try to be better and stay with the times. And that's what you have to do today.
Well, you've got a great company, and you do dominate in that market as far as I'm concerned. I lived in that area. I saw all the signs. Of course, we've done business before, and that's why I went out to you when I had property from the government that I was needing to sell. You were the one I went after because you knew everybody. You knew all the different commercial parts, and so that was an easy decision to go call you. So with that segue, how do people get a hold of you, Bill?
Well, the easiest thing would be you can go on our website, which is ReichelRealty.com, and Reichel is spelled R-E-I-C-H-E-L, Realty.com. My email is B as in boy, Reichel, B-R-E-I-C-H-E-L, at ReichelRealty.com. Our office number, 561-478-4440, and you can call anytime. We have actually a real person that answers the phone.
Isn't that nice?
Hours, which is important.
Yes, it is.
And your call will be handled, and if you want me, you call me, and I will always get back to you.
Customer service is what people want, and that's how you build a business, and you've done it well in the West Palm Beach area. I thank you so much for calling in, Bill. I look forward.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor, and you're a terrific, catalyst for this kind of thing, and I commend you for all that you do.
Well, I appreciate it. I look forward to going down there and having a nice tea with you, and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you for being on the show. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Doug. You too.
You bet. Bye-bye. All right, that was Bill Reichel. He is the CEO of Reichel Realty in West Palm Beach, Florida. Again, it is not a franchise. It is not one of the big top 10 commercial companies, and yet he is so good, and he has kept people on staff. I think he said he's got like 15, 16, and the average year that they've been with him is like 20 years. I mean, no one does that in this business unless you're really good and that you're very effective and you make money for your clients, you make money for your salespeople. And so, again, kudos to Bill Reichel of Reichel Realty. Thank you so much for listening, folks, and hopefully you have a wonderful weekend and spend some time with your family. Take care.